Hello, one and all members of the Salivation Nation. This is Salivate Metal, and recently I posted a video informing of a visit from our Treasury Secretary here in the United States to Fort Knox, the first time since 1948, and he confirmed via Twitter that the gold is safe there. And in my research, I found this infographic, which I thought was pretty cool and pretty informative. And I thought we'd go through it because I think there's some interesting facts and figures in here. Talks about Fort Knox. Does it really have gold, or is it just another conspiracy? And the United States Bullion Depository is serious business. It was constructed in 1936, and it contains 16,500 cubic feet of granite, 4,200 cubic yards of concrete, 750 tons of reinforced steel, and 670 tons of structural steel. And the cost of construction at the time was $560,000. In today's money, that would equate to $9,580,633. Oh, and 9 cents. And it opened in 1937, but quite fascinating how strong the building, the structure itself is. And during World War II, it has housed more than just gold. It had the English crown jewels, the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, the original Constitution documents, 3 volumes of the Gutenberg Bible, the Declaration of Independence, Lincoln's Gettysburg Address and Second Inaugural Address, and the gold reserves for occupied European countries from 1941 to 1944. It's the largest amount of gold ever stored is 40.5 million pounds on December the 31st, 1941, weighing the same as 90 statues of liberty. It's a pretty amazing. How much and how safe it is. It has 147.3 million ounces currently amount stored, which is 3% of all refined gold that has ever existed. And the book value of the gold, and I've heard this mentioned in the comment sections of previous videos and others, that it is at $42.22 an ounce. That's the book value. Standard size of a gold bar is 7 feet by 3.5 feet by 1 1/3 feet. I think that means inches. I don't know. That's quite a big bar, if that's the case. I think that's wrong. This probably should be inches. That's the symbol for foot there. But 27.5 pounds, which is a 400-ounce bar. That's a standard weight. That is exactly right. The physical security measures around the building are barbed wire, electric fences, armed guards, housed on a U.S. Army post, unmarked Apache helicopter gunships, ground-sweeping radar, minefields, and the vault door tempered by a torch drill and explosive weighs 22 tons and 21 inches thick. That's about double the 12 inches of steel surrounding the hull of the USS Missouri battleship. And so, wow, that's pretty amazing. But quite a typo here. 7 feet? I don't think so. No visitors are ever allowed inside the depository, even near the building, period. How do we know if there's really any gold in Fort Knox? According to some, there may not be anything at all in the vault. Brad Metzler decoded History Channel after the investigation. Brad's and team don't believe there's gold in the Fort Knox. In 2011, Senator Ron Paul called for an audit of the gold in Fort Knox. The latest audit was during the Eisenhower administration in 1953, where they counted the gold. Now, outside experts were granted access. Only 5% of the gold was tested, and there has been no full audit in over 60 years. And Bill Still also doesn't believe there is any gold in Fort Knox. Bill Still is respected as an author, editor, and documentarian. He has written for publications such as USA Today. I think he has a YouTube channel as well. Should we blindly trust the government about Fort Knox? Probably not. here are just a few reasons. Turns out the NSA has been spying on us. The U.S. Public Health Service really wasn't treating syphilis in African Americans, and they're really administering a cancer-causing polio vaccine for almost 10 years. The New World Order sounded like a ridiculous conspiracy for many years. Turns out the Bilderberg Group really does have annual meetings, and it talks about other conspiracies. And the thing is yeah, it's, so this infographic seems to think that there's probably not any gold there. But I actually believe that there is gold there myself, because Ed Moy, the U.S. Mint Director, saw it, and of course Steve Mnuchin. I don't think they would lie, and I think that, as to how much, I do believe there should be a full audit. I believe Ron Paul, there should be an audit. Is long overdue for sure, obviously. And talking about gold, it used to be the backbone of our paper currency. The gold standard hasn't been in place since 1971, and we longer redeem currency for gold. And this is an older publication, but it says, according to Federal Chairman Ben Bernanke, the gold in the vault is a long-term tradition. Is the government afraid we'll find out there is no gold to audit? What happens if it's all a conspiracy? Current U.S. government spending is $3.5 trillion per year. It's probably more than that now. National debt has increased by $1 trillion per year, probably more than that now. The value of the gold supposedly in Fort Knox is $6,221,097,412.78. That's enough to buy 60 Boeing 737 planes at $72 million each. In other words, all the gold would be spent in 38 hours, 55 minutes, and 34 seconds. And what if there's no gold in Fort Knox? Would there be a devastating blow to the legitimacy and trust of the U.S. financial stability? Will other countries with strong and growing gold reserves soon replace the U.S. dollar as a world reserve currency? As of 2015, Russia has moved up to 6th place in gold reserve. China is now 7. What do we have to fall back on in case of another bigger economic disaster? Will the U.S. resort to confiscating citizen gold like in the 1930s? And that's just it. I think the very first point here is why there is gold in Fort Knox is I believe that, and why this point here is that it would be it would be a devastating blow to the legitimacy and trust of the United States financial stability, and because it is because of the value of the gold in Fort Knox. And so if it's such a small number compared to the debt and what we're spending, there's really nowhere to cash it out, because it just would be a drop in the bucket, essentially. So there's no reason for the United States to deplete the gold unless there's some inside job or something like that, where employees are taking, which I don't think will be the case. I believe that gold is the last and final safe haven. The United States government understands this. They watch the markets like we do. So I think they would be foolhardy to get rid of the gold. But the only one way to find out for sure is to audit it. And by audit it, I mean count it and test it. And, the thing is that, there's ways to test the gold, and you may only need to do 5% of the gold, drilling it or what have you. There's probably ways to find out. There's probably certain scanners or sensors that can see if there's been holes drilled into the bars and tungsten poured and things like that. There's probably ways to be able to tell that. The government probably has some technology, or there may be some out there that can go down deep enough and scan it deep enough to find out if there's tungsten inside of it. But nonetheless, they should be tested, it should be audited, and it should be public, to be honest with you. But the problem is if the government does that, I think at this point, and I think part of the reason why they don't do that is because then people will start to realize how valuable gold is. And I think in a way, uh, the United States especially really doesn't want people to get the notion that gold is as valuable as it is. They want to leave that to prior generations. But if everybody sees that the government is valuing gold and counting it and the like, and realizing it's a federal thing, then more people will be bound to get it. And I don't know that the government wants us to be as independent. And I think that's where the problem is: financially independent, outside of the banking system and the like. And already it's happening in some cases with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But to me, this takes it to a whole new level. I could be wrong. It may just be speculation there. But post your thoughts about that in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this video on Fort Knox and the facts in it. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.